I went to Lake Hartwell to compete, explore new water, and test my abilities. But the road there and back had different plans. Between mechanical failures on the highway and a critical mistake during the tournament, this trip didn't follow the map. This isn't a highlight reel of a trophy run. This is the reality of the Hartwell retreat. The breakdowns, the pivot, and the lesson learned when the season ends early. This is the truth about the grind. I'm on my way to Lake Hartwell in South Carolina. I made it all the way to Princeton, West Virginia, where I got a wheel bearing going on my trailer. So I was thankful for these guys at Jennings RV to help me out and try to get me back on the road with repairing my wheel bearings and getting everything put back together.
The repair we did at Jennings, it's strictly a Band-Aid. I'm going to need to do a more extensive repair before trying to make that 700-mile trip back home. And at this point, we're just crossing our fingers and hoping this patch job holds together long enough to get the boat to Hartwell where we can make that bigger repair.
That was a very, very long day. Left the house at 4:30, 4:45 this morning, and it's now 20 after 10. Finally made it to Lake Hartwell. Huge shout out to the guys at Jennings RVs for doing everything that they did in order to get me back on the road. I can't say thank you enough. If you guys are ever in the area and need some work done to your trailer, guys at Jennings.
The plan was simple. Just get the rig to Hartwell, launch, and then go hunt 18 Mile Creek. I'd spent weeks scouting it on the map, but the mechanical failures had already eaten my margin for error. By the time I hit the water, the goal had shifted. It wasn't about sticking to the pre-tournament script anymore. It was about survival and adaptation, staying close to the launch and finding a pattern I could actually trust.
To find where these fish might be holding, I'm leaning on a classic search bait. This is a 1/2 ounce Booyah spinnerbait in chartreuse and white. I've got it rigged with 1 willow leaf blade and 1 Colorado blade. This is going to allow me to cover as much water as possible and locate where these fish might be holding.
So day 2, I decided to take a little different approach. I came right on over to Martin Creek, started the morning out on the outside points, dragging, Carolina rig, shaky head. Got a couple small ones, dinks, nothing to be proud of. I pushed back into this creek line. I want to come back and look at these docks, do a little bit of pitching and flipping around the docks. I haven't caught anything off of the docks yet. The one I did catch here a couple minutes ago was about 14 inches. I caught in between the docks. It didn't even come off of the dock. I haven't even had a bite on any of the docks yet, but I've only fished a half dozen of them. It's a lot different than the docks at home. A lot of the docks fish at home are fixed docks. You do have a mix of floating and permanent fixed docks at home. Here, no, everything's floating. Got these big long walkways coming out to them. I want to say thank you to everybody who had a part in helping me get my trailer fixed. It's a big weight off of my shoulders. Thank you to Brian for pointing me in the right direction. MacTune, appreciate you, buddy, for finding me the parts. Without you, it never would have happened. And to Eclipse Marine for making the repairs. I can't express on how thankful I am for you guys. Takes a lot of weight off of my shoulders, and it's going to allow me to focus on what it is we actually came here to do. And that's fish. So thank you.
This is a Berkeley Stunner 112 jerkbait. It's another search bait that lets me cover a ton of water quickly to find where these fish might be holding. Once I use those search baits to locate the fish, it's time to slow things down and get more thorough. That's when I switch gears to a slower approach, relying on the Carolina rig, a shaky head, or this Texas rigged worm with a 3/16 ounce bullet weight to really pick the cover apart and make sure I'm not leaving any of the bites behind.
There's only three things that you need to know to get the wheel started when you go into new water or where you already fish, okay? Where you already fish is, number one, is just what's available. He said, where do they have the high bottom? What does this lake have? Like, what does the lake, does it have grass? Does it have laydowns? Does it have docks? What does it have available for me to fish? That's the first thing you need to do. And let me tell you, before I get into it, if y'all haven't heard this before, this is gonna sound so simple that it might insult you a little bit. Because you probably thought you was gonna get like some crazy juice when you came, like, boy, I'm gonna get the juice today. I'm gonna leave here rejuvenated, baptized by the fishing gods. No, you're gonna get some real simple, basic knowledge today. I don't do that complicated stuff. It's gonna be very simple. It's just what is in the lake. So many times people overlook that. I know that just from the DMs that I get. They'll tell me like, hey Brian, I'm fishing Old Hickory Lake. What do I need to do this year? I'm like, I ain't never been there. I'm like, you tell me, what does it have? Like, I'll usually start asking them questions back, and then by the time I ask them about 3 questions, they already told me how they can get started. But you should do that for yourself. Ask yourself, what does your lake have? Okay, so that's what we did for Yona. What do the fish eat in that lake? Very simple, but it's so easily overlooked. Some of the lakes up north, they have ciscos, alewives, perch, whatever. It'll do yourself some good service if you ever fish up north, just to study the life cycle of perch, ciscos, and alewives, because they make the fish behave differently. When you come to the Carolinas, our lakes have blueback herring, threadfin shad. That's probably the bulk of their diet here, is threadfin shad and blueback herring. If you understand the life cycle where that bait fish lives, that's going to at least put you in the vicinity of where you can get started. We're going to talk about that a little bit when we get in this video. There's one time of the year where that's not as important, what the fish eat. And right now is one of those times, because food is not necessarily the most important thing. If you watched the live in the app just a few days ago, we talked about that. Perhaps the most important part of those three things, if you could just get this one, the most important part of that is knowing your skill set. So many people, so many anglers, including myself, until literally recently, you watch YouTube videos, you watch Gene Jensen, you probably watch Ben Milliken, and you see all these baits that they're using, all these techniques. And you say, well, I got to do that or I'll never be a good fisherman. I got to have you don't need all of the tackle that I even got in that little corner right there. You're thinking, I got to know how to crank. I got to know how to catch them offshore. I got to know how to catch them shallow. I got to know how to catch them out of kayak, a pontoon, everything. The reality of it is you don't. You need to get good at like two things, like really good. And it wouldn't hurt if you was just really good at one thing. Fishing, so you can see what I'm talking about. The main thing I wanted you to get out of that is a lot of times y'all aren't catching fish because your boat control is really bad. An island will look like you look at the land and it looks straight, but you don't realize there's little points and there's places on the island that kind of go in and go out. You got to pay attention to those contours. And so when you fish an island or you fish a bank, anything, look how my boat goes in, it goes out. If I start here and I just go straight, I'm kind of like, I'm in the hot zone and I'm too shallow. And you got to learn how to follow the contours of where you're fishing to be able to catch fish. It'll look like you're out in the middle of the lake, but you got to kind of goes back to what he was asking, how deep is your boat? So this was a situation where I do kind of pay a little bit more attention to how deep my boat is. I want to keep it on that zone, right around in there. I can't just put it in a straight line and just go that way. Very simple thing that I see people skip over time. That's the difference a lot of times between catching fish and not. Same thing over here. If I wanted to fish this little island right here, you see this island here, it's a saddle. So this is gonna be a low spot. It's deeper here. Shallow, deep, shallow. If I start here on this tip and I just put it in forward and just go like this, there's gonna be times where I'm in the hot zone and there's gonna be time where I'm not. What we wanna do is maximize when we're in the hot zone. So to do that, we gotta follow the contour. Sometimes you can just see it with your eyes. The other times you gotta watch your map or your depth finder. I know that seems like common sense, but I fish with some of y'all and it ain't common sense. When you set the hook on any bait, if the bait doesn't move, you don't get hook penetration. So you set the hook, that flat face on the jig, just think about it. If I was trying to pull this with a flat face through a tube, any of y'all ever rigged a bass boat and you're trying to pull those cables through the rigging tubes, you say a lot of cuss words. A lot of cuss words trying, and you know how all of them have a flat face on them when you're trying to pull them through the tube. My daddy, he taught me, he said, son, you take your electrical tape and what you're trying to do is deaden that flat side of it so that it pulls through the rigging tube. So he'd take electrical tape and he'd build it up to match the size of this, and then he slowly just kind of make it smaller. You use a lot of tape, you use duct tape or whatever, then he'd put grease on it because you need movement. When you set the hook, if the jig head doesn't go, whoop, you don't get hook penetration. And so since that's flat, sometimes it doesn't move enough because he's clamped down on it. So if you make this less blunt, if you take this flat jig head, looks like this, and you kind of make it collapse, like, obviously this is a horrible analogy, but if you collapse that down to like a point, like it moves just, even it's just 1/8 of an inch more. Got it. Does that mean you won't lose a fish on the SMH? No, that's not what we're talking about. But instead of you losing one, instead of using 1 out of 20, you lose 1 out of 10, you lose 1 out of 20. That's a big difference. Yeah, that probably would be a tungsten. So what he just says, why didn't we make SMH tungsten? A couple things, especially getting into retail space when you start, I mean, they're already, I think, $7, was it, for 3? Yeah, it'd be $15 for 3 heads. And then, so right now, thank God we didn't do it. We didn't have that problem then, but tariffs on tungsten is crazy right now. And so like, if somebody has tungsten, you probably better buy it because it's about to get bonanza out here. So yeah, that's why, it's really just price point. A tungsten jig head would hook up even better because you would make it smaller, but you gotta have that movement. You gotta have that movement to get. Gosh, dang it. I knew that was gonna get there. I was like, man, I'm doing good today. Like I've been acting like a 40-year-old, not a 14-year-old. You gotta have movement to get. I'm going to the next slide, man. Screw all y'all. I'm going to the next slide.
Doing things a little different here this morning. Since this is a non-traditional, what I can consider a traditional launch, this online tournament, we're being allowed to launch from wherever we want on Lake Hartwell. Lines in at 7, lines out at 3, last submission at 3:30, and then back here to Seneca Marina, Clemson Marina at 4 o'clock. Things have changed. The weather's different today. We got some wind. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's not too bad. It got a little bit of rain here this morning. For the last 2 days, it's been bird blue skies and close to 90. So let's go to work. Out of the corner of my eye, I see them breaking the surface. They're keyed in on the bait fish. I reach down, grab the stun of jerk bait, and fire a cast in the direction. Just like that, a fish on. Just as quick as it happened, they were gone. Not even 10 minutes later, it's the same story. I see him busting the surface in another area and fire a cast right into the frenzy. The stunner comes through again. And like before, 1 minute they're there, the next they're gone. Well, I went most of the morning without any fish, caught a couple of dinks. Here in the last half hour, I was able to put 3 quality fish in the boat, put them on the board, measured them, took pictures of them, let them go. Then I realized I did not have the identifier in the picture. Bonehead move, none of them count. Back to 0.
Yep, that just happened there. Let me see if I can clear up any confusion there might be of what just took place, what just happened. In a traditional bass tournament, you catch your fish, you take your 5 biggest and you keep them in your live well, and at the end of the day you put them in a bag and you bring them to the scale and they weigh them. That's a traditional bass tournament. This is an online tournament which does not go by weight, it goes by length. So you measure your fish on a catch board, you take a picture of it, and you submit it through the app. At the beginning of these tournaments, to keep everything fair, they put out what's called an identifier. It may be a series of numbers and letters that you write on a card, write on your hand. It could be a picture of something. For this tournament here, it was the BLAT coin. That was the identifier that was supposed to be in every submission picture today. So those first 3 or 4 fish that I caught did not have this identifier in them. They did not count. I have to start all over from the beginning. Hope I cleared up any confusion there might have been. Well, I made it about 150 mile, just outside of Statesville, and now the driver's side went. We got something seriously going wrong here. Heating up these rotors and these bearings. I think it might be a brake issue. I'm gonna limp it like this to Charlotte, to the sister-in-law's house. Hopefully I make it there. Well, I'm back on the road, headed north, headed home. Boatless. Fortunately for me, that driver's side bearing let loose in not an ideal spot, but luckily for me, less than 50 miles from where that happened, my brother and sister-in-law live, and they allowed me to park it in their driveway and continue on home. There's something seriously wrong going on. Something, I'm not sure what it is. I think it might have something to do with the brakes. For both sets of wheel bearings on that axle on the passenger side and the driver's side both to go, there's something that's causing that to happen. So over the next couple of days, I'm gonna see if I can't find a local trailer service center and see if I can't get it there and get it fixed. I'll keep you posted. So I've been home now for about 2 weeks, and most of that time's been spent on the phone or in front of these monitors editing this video. I was hunting for a shop near Charlotte that can handle the repairs, and after some serious back and forth with the trailer manufacturer, we decided that the best course of action is to replace the entire rear axle, spindles, calipers, rotors, bearings, the whole 9 yards. The good news is they found a boat dealer that's not too far away from where it's sitting at right now that can make the repairs. The bad news is it's going to be about 4 weeks to get the new axle manufactured and shipped out. That puts the Triton on the sidelines for about a month, but that doesn't mean I'm done. Very soon I'm heading back to North Carolina to clean out the boat and get it ready to be dropped off over at the dealers, so when the parts do show up, they can make the repairs. The season on hold just means I'm shifting gears. I'll be entering the next couple of club tournaments as a non-boater just to try and keep the momentum going until the parts arrive and the repairs can be made. Hopefully I can get the repairs done fairly quickly and in time for the Bass Federation tournament, qualifier tournaments. If not, it's going to be a very limited season. It's not how I planned this season, but I'm going to make the most of it. Thanks for riding along through this grind. I appreciate everybody following along. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit them thumbs, and I'll see you on the next one.